Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Veronica, aka Little Miss Skin Expert. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys how I created this purpley, beautiful Valentine's Day look. So without further ado, let's get started. And don't forget to like and subscribe, of course. Well, good morning guys. So we decided to use the La Vie and Rose palette by Pat McGrath. This is what it looks like in case you guys weren't sure. And let's get started. So I just went ahead and just did my eyebrows and my base on my lid off camera because I think that's always the same and it's kind of boring. So diving in. Okay, so the first shade in the palette that I'm going to go in with is this shade right here. This is the shade called Rose Risqué, and it's a very, very bright hot pink, but I want this to be the transition color because I want this eye to kind of pop and glow. I was gonna kind of try to do this a little bit muted down, but I mean, look at this palette. Is that even possible? So my husband and I were going back and forth, and I was talking to him about what my plan was for today, and he says, maybe you could try something muted down. I'm like, really? Also, what I'm doing with this color is I'm pulling it out because I am gonna probably take a makeup wipe and clean up the outer edge. So I do want this shade to kind of come outward. It just looks a little bit more flattering on the eye, so that way the shade doesn't get lost. You don't want it to get lost, and it also helps the blending process when you're starting to layer upon layer upon layer eyeshadow shades. The next shade in the palette that I have already applied is this one right here. This is the shade called Paranormal. It is a matte plummy purpley shade, so it looks like, sorry, that. Wow, pigment. I better slow my roll here and not add so much. So I like that about this formula because you can build, you know, upon it without adding too much. I'm just going to go ahead and go back in with that Rose Risqué shade and just kind of help blend this out so everything is just smooth, making sure that this shade doesn't get lost, pulling it outwards again. Okay, as you could tell, I've already added Purple Rain. I wanted to see how the pigment picked up on this kind of a brush, and so let's just go in and do it. So I am just putting this all over the lid, like so. I probably should have used a synthetic brush. This is a little bit flimsy for this shade, but oh well, it did the job. Not much fallout with Pat McGrath, that's for sure. Okay, so now just going back in with that pink shade, Rose Risqué, I'm just going to kind of help blend these two together. Just want to make sure everything just looks really like from darkest to light, moving upwards. I realize this is going to be a very dramatic look. Oh well. I'm going to go back in with this shade called Paranormal, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and smoke out this outer corner right here before I clean up this edge. I mean, I probably could have done this before I did all this, but it's okay. We'll do it this way. And then, of course, taking my Paula's Choice cleansing wipe or cleansing cloth, I'm going to go ahead and just clean up this edge. I could have used a a makeup shield, but I prefer doing it this way just because if there are specks of fallout, which there aren't, this really just helps to ensure that those get removed so it's not interfering with the foundation. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move on to foundation first. So this is a pump of the Too Faced Born This Way foundation in the shade Warm Nude. And I'm just going to kind of dot the face, or I am, and just start applying it to the face. And I do, as you guys have noticed, I do like to just start off really with a very small amount, because if I want to build upon that, I can, you know, you can always build upon it, but you can't take it away unless you take a makeup wipe and then just wipe it off, which is a pain. So I would suggest starting out with maybe a pump of foundation and then build upon that from there. Before I go in with concealer, I wanted to apply these. These are the Glow More Glow Boosting Drops by L'Oreal. These were the other ones that I was talking about besides the Flower Beauty. These are very similar. It comes like a dropper, whereas the Flower Beauty one comes as a pump. And I'm just going to apply like a few drops because I'm going to be using a highlighter anyway. The way I like to blend these in is just with my fingers first, just to, you know, your fingertips are warm, so I do like that. It heats up this product onto your skin. And if you get too much, like in this case, I feel like I have too much, I'll just take like my blending sponge and then use my fingertips, go back in with my blending sponge, and it just helps. I don't like to put highlighter too much in the center of my face just because I feel like it adds texture. So it really just depends on the person that I'm working on, and if they have texture there that we don't want to emphasize that for them. I'm going to go in with the multi-use sculpting concealer. Again, I really like this because it doesn't set up so fast, so it's easier for me to manipulate it into the skin. This is the shade called Swan. I am going to go in also with the shade Almond because Swan's just a little too light for me. But I like that it does brighten my complexion, so that's why I'm using it. So I'm just dotting the face because I don't particularly want too much of a heavy concealer look in this area, just because I do. Okay, so now with the Ethereal setting powder, very, very little amount. I mean, this is just to help set the foundation down along with any cream kind of products that I've used, which is, in this case, I use the illuminator. Over the day, you will be able to see these areas that I've applied, and actually you could still see it even now. But I do feel like with the combination of my oils and the products, it really makes it look better. Just kind of pouncing it along the skin to help set. And then we'll go ahead and contour and bake. I'm going to go ahead and contour my nose, and I'm going to be using the Shade and Light palette by Kat Von D. And I think I'll use this shade right here in the middle. I don't know. I think it's called, okay, it's called Shadow Play. And I'm going to take the tip first and just draw along the bridge of my nose, and I'm going to kind of taper it. Oh, damn it. Don't do that. Tapering it downwards. Let's try this again. And go down all the way. I'm not too concerned with like if I've gone a little bit too deep, because I will use translucent loose powder to kind of help blend this shade. I just really wanted to emphasize to straighten my bridge of my nose here. Like that. Before I start blending this through, I'm going to go ahead and add the yellow shade here and just go along to help straighten my nose out. Sorry if you guys can't see. I'm just kind of tapping it down. It's like almost like setting it with setting powder. But this shade really does help camouflage any redness and helps to help brighten that area too. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start working on the lower lash line. So I'm going to take this shade right here, Rose Risqué, and I'm going to actually start with that first. And just taking a blending brush and just starting to blend on the lower lash line. All the way across, like that. And then just adding that Paranormal shade with a smudger brush. So I've added the shade Purple Rain all along here, and then I'm going to go in with this shade Rose Risqué again, just to be sure it's all blended well. Now to kind of amp up the look, I went ahead and I added the Stila Glitter and Glow Liquid Eyeshadow. This is in the shade Gypsy, and it looks like this. So it's like almost like a silvery, goldy, metally looking purple. And adding that on top really just made it pop. So I went ahead and added a wing liner. This is the Doubletake eyeliner by Tarte. So one side is a felt tip and the other side is a pencil. As you can tell, I've destroyed that. I've annihilated it. I've used it. It's a pretty decent one. But that is what I used to create the wing. Now, instead of using a white eyeliner in the waterline, I went ahead and I used this one. This is the Infallible Longwear Eye Pencil in the shade Nude by L'Oreal. And we're getting there, guys. And then for my inner corner today, I used this one. This is the shade called Pale Fire. And now on to mascara. You know what's so cool about these? Besides the fact that they're gold and they're engraved with Icona lashes, is these are surgical steel metal. So surgical steel is the strongest you can get, and so it's gonna last you forever. And that's one things I really love about this. It's very easy to use. So this is what I use to apply these lashes today, but these are not Icona lashes. These are by Flutter Lashes in the style Intoxicating. A very dramatic eyelash. So if you do not want anything this dramatic, I could suggest maybe the Make Him Miss Me style or the About Last Night style for an eye look like this. And you can use my code to save 10%, Little Miss Skin Expert. So I went ahead and added the highlighter by Becca Cosmetics in the shade Opal. Mine is really broken. That's the reason why I'm not really showing it off right now, because if I tilt it, everything will just come right out. But it's like a champagne-y kind of highlighter, which I really, really love. So her formula is soft. So I just want to emphasize that, meaning, you know, you want to be careful with it. But it's so beautiful. I love her highlights. Very creamy, not chunky. And then for blush, this is the NARS blush in the shade Angelika. And I've already started applying it. And I like it because it's more of a cool tone kind of pink. It does have a little bit of shimmer flecks in there, but I don't feel like it shows that much on the blush. Which is just to kind of help tie this look in. We're applying her. Well, I changed my shirt so that way you guys could focus on the look. I feel like my sweater was a little too busy, but that completes the look, guys. For the lipstick, I picked up the Ciate Glitter Flip lipstick, and it's in the shade Valentine. And so this is a little bit more on the corally pinky side, but the cool thing about it is it's got little glitter flecks in the lipstick. So you let it set and then you rub it together. and then you start seeing little glitter flecks in the lipstick, so that's kind of a neat little thing. That completes the look, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed today's tutorial, and I will see you guys in the next one. See ya!